All right, got my audio set up. All right, so welcome to our first Motherload session. We're going to be really informal today, just because this is our first session, and yeah, so I will go over some housekeeping for those of you who have never attended anything of mine online before. So you can keep your video on or off. It's totally up to you. It doesn't matter to me either way. You can jump in, when it is time to jump in, if you want to share anything. Mostly it's just going to be me like presenting you with an expressive arts exercise and you doing it on your own in the 75-minute kind of block that we have to do this. There isn't a lot of time for sharing, just depending on how long each kind of section takes. So I break these online sessions up into kind of 3 pieces. So 4 pieces, an introduction where I kind of just give you some context to the topic. We move into guided visualization where I am talking most of the time, guiding you through it. This isn't like Eat, Pray, Love meditation where we're going to be like sitting in silence for 20 minutes, an hour. It's not like that. It's more of a guided visualization. And then that visualization, meditation, if you will, some of my clients interchange those words. And then we'll transition into art making. And that art making is informed, by the topic and the visualization. And then at the end, I post some journal questions that are related to the topic, related to your art, related to your process, just allowing you to go that much deeper into the process. And I have, over the last 5 years, have designed this kind of 4-piece framework for almost all of my support groups, in person, online, workshops, anything that I do it because each one of those pieces is likely really going to speak to you. And it's going to change based on the topic, right? So I've had moms coming to me for from the time I started, some moms are still seeing me from like my first support group I ever ran, and they're still clients now. And so every piece of that framework will resonate based on the topic. And I also do it that way so that if you are multitasking at the same time, like if you've got babies awake or, maybe for some people, they're like on vacation when they tune into the workshops or online sessions. And so even though I really like promote doing one thing at a time, I also get that motherhood is rarely like that. And while I would love for you to have this like uninterrupted 75 minutes, in the middle of the day on the Friday, I kind of know that that's probably not going to happen. I almost had my 7-year-old here with me until he decided that he was going to go to school today. So it was, multitasking at all times. I do encourage you to really practice those skills of getting this just moment to yourself. But I also understand that that's not always the reality, and we're just doing the best that we can when it comes to our self-care. So I break it up into those 4 pieces of the framework, because if you happen to be multitasking, or your baby or your child or your toddler wakes up before you anticipated them to wake up, or you didn't get them down in time, or, your partner happens to be home on an EDO on the Friday, or your kids are in the background if it's summer holidays, I totally get that. These experiences within the Motherload are designed for you to have that container by yourself, but they're also really gentle in the way that you can do them while you're multitasking. And so it really is activating that part of the brain where like, I can be mindful and like reduce the shoulders and bring down the intensity or my anxiety while my child is in the room. Right. I think we can segregate these things where like, I can never have peace and quiet if my children are around. And that can be totally true. I am raising 2 very rambunctious physical boys. I will tell anybody who will hear me that I literally have a twin mattress that doesn't leave my living room because it is like WWE all the time. And so it's like, I get that there are like these rare moments of quiet and silence, you know, in your day or in your world. But I also know that we can cultivate a sense of quiet and calm and peace in ourselves while the tornado is happening, right? That's part of the process, and the skills that I like to teach moms is that it's not always about like finding this perfect curated moment of quiet. It's like finding these moments and these gems of calm and peace, you know, while you're kind of in the middle of a storm. So that's the 4-part framework for almost everything that I do and everything that you will experience inside the Motherload itself. A lot of the self-paced courses and stuff like that are geared in this kind of framework way. I give you the topic, I give you some reflection, a visualization, you have time for art, and then we reflect some more with journaling. So without further ado, I am going to kind of jump into our topic today, but again, keeping in mind that it is really informal if this is your first time, either watching it or here live, that if you happen to be interrupted or you happen to have to stop your process partway through, totally get that. You can just you can come back to it, or you can just leave it, right? You can just, didn't get to complete that one. Maybe I can complete it later. So just for today, I'm going to walk you through a very generic kind of visualization so that we can just kind of get in the zone of what the process is like. So we're just going to be practicing what it feels like to go through each of those 4 phases today. So if you are already in a comfortable space that you feel comfortable like sitting, excuse me, and either like closing your eyes or just finding something soft to look at, I encourage you to just kind of drop into that now. Or if you feel like you need to, or if you feel like you need to change positions, I also want you to, you know, have some space to do that now. And then I'll walk you through the visualization, and then I'll give you kind of a time frame for some of the art making, and then I'll post some journal questions. And if we've got time to come back to it at the end, we can have some sharing. But full disclosure for my own life today, I have to wrap it up by 1 so that I can go pick up my child for a specialist appointment this afternoon, that if I tried to cancel today, I wouldn't have been getting until November. So I was like, okay, I'll be there. So we've been waiting for this for a long time. So we'll wrap up by 1 today, but normally we do have that full 75-minute container, so about 1 hour and 15. Sometimes we go over that, but today I have to keep it in the container of that 60 minutes. So getting in a comfortable space, allowing, just like allowing your body to like arrive in the here and now, acknowledge maybe what it took for you to get here, you know, logistically in your own life, the things you had to set up to prepare to just arrive here in front of your computer screen, and just allowing a moment of just, whew, I'm here, I've arrived, I've made time for this, I've made time for me, this is just my time. I'm going to let go of any expectations I have, or the dirty dishes I can see out of the corner of my eye, or the laundry piled up over here. I'm just going to be right here in my body. I'm just going to practice being here. And really just noticing my breath. If I had a really high-paced morning and I just need to like, whew, just need to catch this breath. I just want you to sit with that for a moment. If you need to, sometimes I find it helpful to actually put my hands on my chest or on my belly. Really feel that movement of breath. And I want you to notice if in your body somewhere you feel like that breath is kind of getting stuck. In our autopilot and the daily grind and the things that we need to do in a day, it's not often that we really check in, with how deep that breath is going down. And I want you to practice filling up your rib cage with breath if you can. I don't want you to strain yourself or do anything that you can't like physically do. I want you to honor your own limits. But just really breathing in and moving that whole chest, dropping those shoulders, bringing them back down into your body. When you do this, you might feel the urge to kind of move or shift, or you might feel a few crackles or a few pops as you relax your body in this way. And as you're breathing and noticing your body in this way, it's quite natural if you haven't done this for a while, and even people who are practiced at it, to kind of get a little scattered or distracted at any point. And I just want you to know that that's okay. We don't have to have judgment or shame or criticism around that. I've had lots of moms say, I just couldn't get into it today. And that's okay. That's why we have the 4-step framework, because one of the pieces will likely speak to you today. And so if you're feeling kind of scattered or anxious, kind of unable to sit with what's inside of you right now, I just want you to honor that that's your reality today and that you're just doing your best. And so if any point that does happen and you want to practice coming back to your body, just count your breath. Just count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just see if that brings your attention back in here, having a rhythm and a counting inside your body. And then slowly and gently transitioning into focusing on the different body parts. So I want you to just scan your body, kind of noticing from head to toe what parts of your body feel pleasant today. Maybe they feel kind of energized, just a pleasant nature to them. Making space for that pleasantness to be there. And then I want you to move into maybe the more unpleasant places. Places that feel uncomfortable, like they're holding on to tension or stress. Maybe they feel painful. And just making space for that to be as well. No judgment or shame or criticism, just that it is. I want you to feel into your heart now, just that heart center in your chest. And just notice some of the feelings that are happening there today. It might help to put your hand there, just breathing into that heart-centered space, allowing it to feel open, tender, and vulnerable, because it is. Just noticing the feelings. There might be feelings welling up inside of you. You might feel uncertain or uncomfortable. You might feel an overwhelming amount of love or joy. Whatever the feelings you feel, just settle into them. Allow them to be there. Tuning in to your body sensations. I want you to just reflect on the question, why am I here? Why at this stage of my life, in this moment, in this time, why am I here? Why am I here inside the Motherload membership? What is it that I hope to gain, or areas of growth? What am I willing to let go of or put down in order to really prioritize taking care of myself? Why am I here? You can stay with that question, that wondering, that curiosity for as long as you need. And whenever you feel ready, slowly and gently transitioning back to the room at your own speed. And whenever you're ready, just starting to express whatever needs expressing from that experience. I'm going to turn my laptop down just so that you don't feel like you're doing art alone. I'm going to be doing this alongside you. And I just want you to just allow whatever happened in that visualization to spill out onto the paper. And we will engage in the creative process for 15 to 20 minutes. I'll check in at the 15-minute mark, and we'll just kind of see how much more time people might need. Yeah, I think that was about 15 minutes. I kind of lost myself in my process. So can you either just turn on your video or just either in the chat, just share with me maybe how many minutes you would need if you're not done? Like, do you want an extra 5? And then we can adjust from there. So if you need 5 more minutes, totally awesome. We'll give you 5 more minutes, and then I can put the journal questions up after that, or if you're ready and done, then we can do it now. You're good, Chantel? Okay. Okay, well, either way, I'll put the journal questions up. You can have 5 minutes with the journal questions, and or you can still work on your art in that whole process. We're being super flexible today. So just give me 1 minute and I will put the questions up. Okay, so if you are in a place that you are ready to, sorry, I'm just reading Danielle's message. If you are at a place where your art piece is done or you found a stopping place in the art process, I'd like you to work through these journal questions. And again, with the most gentleness and the most compassion, if this is the first time you've done this or the first time in a long while and you're having a hard time getting into it, okay? So work through these journal questions. I'll check in at about the 5 to 7 minute mark, and then we'll go from there. All right. Even if you don't have the questions done or your process done or anything like that, this is a practice, you know, of being okay with things not being perfectly or working out the way you wanted them to. So I'm opening the floor now to anybody who feels the urge to share. Oh, I'll stop the recording. And then if nobody feels like sharing, I take no offense. This is totally optional. You do not have to share. I get that it can be vulnerable, especially one of your first times doing this online in this way. Next session, we will do a lot more, like I'll get everybody to kind of introduce themselves and say something about themselves if that's what they feel safe doing. So this time, just because of the time crunch, I wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity for that 4-part framework. So if anybody feels the urge to share, you can absolutely do that. And while you're making up your mind, if those of you are making up your mind, this is mine. If you had been looking down at yours the entire time, not watching me, which is totally fine. Again, I just do the art on the screen so that you don't feel like you're doing it alone. And I started with this like teal and then the pink and the yellow, 2 different kind of shades of pink and purple in there that kind of got muddled in. But I was just kind of imagining this like breath, this kind of breath expanding and contracting, and I'm working on a painting series right now that's all about the waves of motherhood. And so then also at the end, I kind of made this kind of wave in this white space that was here. I've just been doing a lot of thinking and reflecting and a lot of work with clients and in groups around the highs and lows of motherhood. A lot of metaphors have been coming through around like drowning, keeping afloat, you know, just trying to stay above water kind of thing. And so I'm using that as a bit of my inspiration for some of my, the painting that I do. So
yeah, that was kind of mine, just tuning into my body and the sensations there, and some of also the feelings in my heart, like crushing waves and that kind of thing. So that's mine. If anybody would like to share, the floor is now yours.